What is going on, all-terrain nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or these mid-sized trucks, most of you know. If you're new to the channel, you don't know. But hey, I love to drive. This is your all-terrain nation, and this is the Nooner. That's right, trying a little different, trying to see where you guys are at. And I want to talk some pickup trucks this afternoon, and hopefully you guys will join along. And if you're, once again, if you're new to my channel, my name is David Wood. I'm an auto journalist, and I love mid-sized trucks. I've dedicated a whole hour of a show to mid-sized trucks because I think they're some of the most fun out there. I think they're versatile. You can use them with your family. You can go off-roading with these things. You can just crush life with a mid-sized truck. And now I've owned many mid-sized trucks, from old Chevy S10s, man, I'm dating myself, to Nissan Frontiers, and I've had a little bit of everything. I've done time with the old Rangers, and I just I have a passion for this size of vehicle. So hopefully you do too, and hopefully you are joining us for the Nooner. That is right. So yesterday for Tacoma 4G broke some news we're going to get into, but kind of want to give a little bit of a update on this. So yesterday I did a live stream showing a full press release of a vehicle that was not out just yet. And at the time it read like a press release, but I didn't think it was like completely a press release. And well, come to find out it was. So if you were watching that show, you probably saw me disappear real quick, was because that's a big no-no. And I removed that quickly before Toyota contacted me to remove that. But after that, between that and the Tacoma 4G debacle, where they've just posted everything. And guys, I love breaking news, but there's to a point, and I'm not sure on the forums why it seems to happen quite a bit of showing a couple pictures is pretty cool, but you can't lay out these companies spend probably a year on marketing of this vehicle, of how they're going to market it, the press release and all that. And they get to the final hours, and I was not invited to the Hawaii event that they did, but I have been invited to several press events, and they get to the final hours of this stuff, and somebody spoils all their hard work. And not that I guess it matters to most people in life, but it's kind of a bummer. But once again, I did read basically a full press release, and quickly had to get rid of that. So but if you guys would smash that like button for me, I would greatly appreciate that. And we will go along. Once again, I know this is, if you're normally the truck show here is on Saturdays, but my life here lately has just been pretty busy on Saturdays. And I haven't been able to dedicate the Saturday mornings like I like. So hopefully, if you're watching this on a Saturday, give me a big thumbs up on that. So we will get into this news. And I've been hit up quite a bit now because my audience does know I have a passion for this size truck. But they know that I've been all about the Ford Ranger, the Ranger Raptor. And I knew kind of what was coming with the Tacoma. I mean, the tea leaves were out there. You knew it was going to be a hybrid powertrain. Just it's like a scaled down version of what they're doing with Tundra, and I like Tundra quite a bit. Me and Kelly have done quite a bit of time with Tundra, and so I kind of had feel what the interior was going to feel like, and it looks almost identical to what I thought it would. Now, thank God they didn't completely just miniaturize the Tundra. It does have its own personality, which I think is important to vehicles. I've seen a lot of people talking about, oh, it's just it's a tiny Tundra, and it's like, no, look at the front end of this thing, man. Somebody had the Tundra and the new Tacoma side by side, and there's definitely some differences. Now, there's some similarities. The headlights are similar. There's the design features that you're going to see, but that's through any brand. Look at the new Ranger. The Ford Ranger is a scaled down version of an F-150. I know Maverick guy would like to say that it's a scaled up version of a Maverick, but no, that's been the Maverick's been a miniature version of an F-150. I mean, if you look at the design features, it's all there. So the only one right now that I would say is completely different is Colorado, and the GMC or the GM twins. They have a look of all their own, but I think that's where Chevrolet's heading with the Silverado. So we'll see on that. Oh man, I've talked a lot these past couple days here on, so don't mind the old Coke Zero there. So so yes, I got my hand slapped. I had to take that video down, and but I was going to. So a lot of people ask me, hey man, I know you're big on the Raptor. Where are you going to be with where are you at with the TRD Pro? And I want to give my thoughts and opinions on that in just a little bit. But I have to say, Toyota's unveiling of this thing, one of the best. This is where they did it in 2016. They did it in Hawaii. So I think it's a great place. It's a great halfway point between Japan and America. So there's a lot of foreign press that do show up to these things. So I think it was a nice way to do that. And hey, any other brand out there, I'm saying go to Hawaii and I'll take a flight out there and check your truck out for sure. But Toyota has, I think they've done their work, man. They've owned this segment for quite a while. So we only have to you look at the success of the previous Tacoma, the Gen 3 now, the old truck. And you can see that they own this segment and they give 0 F's about where everybody else is going, With Ford did their launch a couple weeks ago that we were at that launch. Ford, people go, "Oh, Ford just set the tone for where it's supposed to be." And we've, much like what we did with Tacoma, Ford, we kind of knew what we were getting with the Ford Ranger. We've only seen it for a year now in other markets. So we had a good idea. Now, we didn't get the 3-liter diesel that like they do in Australia, but they're never putting a diesel in that small truck. The diesel was a wish list of many people, especially if you're into off-road 4-wheel drive trucks. But it's not practical enough for the little trucks. I think Chevrolet tried their best to make it work in the Colorados, but it just costs so much, and the maintenance of a diesel, and most people don't own a vehicle 3 years now. So, you've got to own a diesel to make that actual value for you. You got to own a diesel for quite a while. But so we didn't get the diesel in the Ranger, but we did. We suspected, and I reported on many times, that we would probably get the 2.3 out of the current Ranger and a 2.7 out of the Bronco. And sure enough, that happened. Now they did lower the numbers down, the HP numbers down just ever so slightly, but we did get those engines. And at the time, 2 weeks ago, we were like, holy hell, that's best in class right there, man. Because, for a while, Nissan has kind of carried that banner with their Frontier of best in class horsepower. The last Chevrolet Colorado was 307, I believe, 308. And Nissan had to up them up by 2 horsepower. So Nissan went 310 with their 3.8 liter. Naturally aspirated, by the way. That's a naturally aspirated V6 making 310 horsepower. And so Chevy met that. It's 310 with a tune. It's still a 4-cylinder. And I know this might help the Chevrolet crowd right now, because Chevrolet crowd has long been like trying to justify 4-cylinders. And maybe the fact that Toyota put a 4-cylinder, the little 2.4 in theirs, maybe that makes Chevrolet guy feel a little bit better. But Chevy just threw some turbos at it and said, hey, let's hope this motor hangs on for a while. Where I believe Toyota has done their homework. They did it with a Tundra. People laughed at them when they're like only going to have a V6 option, and then you come to find out it's a twin turbo V6 with a hybrid assist, and you get those big V8 numbers. And even better than their previous V8, you're getting big numbers in a tinier package. And with the way emissions are going right now, you're going to see across the board, all manufacturers, V8's dead. We've seen that with Dodge. Ram with their trucks is you're going to start seeing them go with the Hurricane engine, I believe, for their high output engines and that. And then they will still stick with diesel. Chevrolet would really like to do, I know Chevrolet's known for their V8s, but if you look at the Silverado lineup, they're dying. They're gone. Ford does so much with that 3.5 liter EcoBoost that it's almost not even needed unless you need to get a heavy duty. You would never need a big V8 in these vehicles. So they're dropping cylinders, and each cylinder you do reduces emissions. And that's the game we're playing right now. Is the federal regulations on emissions right now is just ridiculous. And these guys, the only way they can do it is add a turbo and pray to God. Basically, that helps you. So you lose a cylinder, add a turbo, and there you go. And I think the way Toyota's handled this, though, they knew that was coming. And I think this has been, last I'd heard by an insider, they had predicted for 10 years now that how this was going to go down for most manufacturing. And I think Toyota's achieved the right way to not scare people away from hybrid technology. Toyota was the first with their Prius to bring hybrid technology kind of out there for everybody, for the masses to be able to purchase, which was a cool thing. And, I know truck buyer at the time's going on, I'm not driving no Prius, but they were laying the foundations of what was to come. There's a lot to learn with battery technology, the reconditioning of the batteries, how to make the batteries last over time. And Toyota's known for quality, and they don't need to put a hybrid system in a truck and then 3 years later you're going through batteries, you're just having a time, and that's expensive. Recalls are expensive. So I think Toyota was smart to let's set on this. Let's bring it in and let's use it more for horsepower than fuel economy. Now, Toyota has not, and we're going to get into the press release. They have not really released any kind of numbers just yet. So, that's to be seen what it's going to do. But I know for Tundra, it wasn't like a big boost in fuel economy. I want to say it basically stayed the same. But for Toyota in the truck line, that's not what they're interested in. They're interested in taking a very small displacement motor, a 4-cylinder, and getting as much out of it as they can. And then we're going to plus it up by in between the bell housing there. We're going to put this hybrid motor in there. So when you need that a little extra oomph, you've got it. And I think that's the way to go. And I think that's also the way to go because you're not scaring truck buyers. Toyota knows, I know F-150 is the biggest volume selling truck out there, but the Tacoma is up there. And the Tacoma, if I could say it, Tacoma is king of midsize trucks, and by a large margin. It's not even close how many they sell compared to everybody else. And so they, for one, have some room to play around with this tech. And if it were for some reason, if they just saw their sales next year, they sell 50,000, they can easily pump the brakes and throw something else in there, which is not going to happen. But Toyota, they're just the masters of this, and I say hats off to those guys over there. Their engineering team is pretty freaking wicked, and I've got to talk to a few of those guys, and they're the cool thing that I've talked about with Toyota people when I've been to truck press events with them is the people they hire are truck people. They love the Toyota brand. They're generational Toyota truck people. And some of the other manufacturing that you'll see it with Ford, Ford will tout, they'll do a video about how generational their employees are. But I have found that the mid-sized truck guys over at Toyota are very passionate about what they do. That's the truck they want to be a part of. That's the one they strive to meet the excellence that is that Toyota does with mid-sized trucks. So with all said and done, let's get into this press release just a little bit. I could sit here, I guess, kissing Toyota's butt all day, but and I'm going to get into some of my thoughts about where I'm ranking some of these trucks towards the end of this. But let's look at the old press release here, and they've got their little highlighted things here. So we're going to get a standard iForce turbocharged 4-liter 4-cylinder engine, producing up to 278 horsepower with 317 foot-pounds of torque, and I believe that number is with their manual. So don't quote me on that just yet. I know it's further down this press release, but that is pretty epic. I know the guys, every mid-sized trucks, the one thing I've heard about the last press release I was at with Ford was, where's the manual? It's like, guys, their manuals are dead for mid-size. They don't, for Ford, Chevrolet, and Nissan and these guys. What's up, Sam? The volume is not there for them to produce a manual because the manual take rate is around 5% or less. Now, if you're selling 100,000 trucks a year, 5% is not, it's not a big take rate for the commitment you have to develop that and sell those parts. So, but for Toyota, who sells well over 200,000 a year, 5% suddenly is looking a little bit better versus the big boys. So Toyota is able to take some chances. Now, available iForce Max turbocharged 2.4, man, if I could talk, 2.4 liter 4-cylinder hybrid powertrain is going to produce up to 326 horsepower with 465 foot-pounds of torque. Now, that hybrid technology, electric motors, we know what they do. Electric motors are all about torque, and I believe it's 46 horsepower is what their little electric engine can push. And that's a lot of extra torque that behind that little electric motor. And for pulling out of things, especially off-roaders, if you're in some inclines where you really need some torque to crawl up an incline, that's pretty epic to have. So that's pretty cool. Also, they have a new Trailhunter, which we've seen. They've teased it. That's not breaking news, but it's going to be a factory developed overland rig built from ground up, and they've partnered with ARB on that. And they didn't just let ARB throw a couple parts at them. ARB had a say in how to develop the parts for this trucks, which is really cool. Let's see. Sam says, "What about the 7-speed in the Bronco? Is it the same platform as Ranger? Is it really that hard to convert it over?" It's the same. It's the same chassis, Sam. Um, Same engine, basically. Yes. So would it be that hard? No, but at the end of the day, it's then you have to buy. You're doubling up what you're already buying with the Bronco, and Ford will never release what the take rate is of manual transmissions with Bronco. I think early on we would have been like, oh man, it's like 30%. But I think if you let that settle over about 5 years, you're going to find out that it drops further down to 3 to 4%, and then you're trying to then take and dump more money to the Ranger for that. And I'm not saying Ford can't do it or will not do it down the road. Trust me, they listen to all the journalists. They listen to you guys. They read the comment sections on all your favorite social media. They respond to that. And remember, I always say this: if you're gonna, you can't say, "Well, this just sucks." And that's your comment, because Ford and all the manufacturing does this. They will screen capture all the comments and send them to the higher ups. And if you're just like, hey, this thing's a big pile of shit, they're never going to they can't take that to their boss and be like, look, people clearly said it was a hunk of crap. So if constructive criticism is how I always say, so while you're doing this, what's up, John Rossi? We are a little early today. We're trying something different. But they will listen to their customers, and if possible make those changes. Mustang just really barely gets a manual transmission in that thing, and of course that's a low volume car. I want to say they sell less than 4,000 a month Mustangs, so that's pretty low volume. So but that's just because there's such heritage of that. And Ranger does not, unfortunately, have the heritage for that. And Ranger has always been, mid-sized trucks, or trucks in general, all through the late 70s, early 80s, when the rage, the little pup trucks started hitting, manual transmissions. They were all about fuel economy back then. They were cheaper. Many people don't realize now that manual transmissions were by far like $1,500 cheaper in many instances than an automatic. And now it's kind of vice versa, because of, they don't build a lot. So anyways, but John, I'm sure they could if they wanted to, but I think the idea of Ranger is a high volume truck. That, let's keep it simple. That's why Toyota, when they gave cab options, which I think was huge for Toyota, remember that whole 200,000 versus 100,000, they can make the math work on that because they sell so many. They can start adding configurations where some of the other brands it's just not feasible for them. And that's one thing I heard a lot of feedback from the Ranger when I came back from Ranger school, was people upset that there was no kind of king cab, no extended cab for the two-door guys that just love that truck. And it just comes down to volume. Four-door trucks, four-door people are using trucks as their family, the family trucksters, as it were. And I don't think that the take rate is high enough on this. And I think Toyota may quickly find out there's not a high take rate on what they're calling their extend. I believe, I forget what they call it. The extra cab is what they're calling it. They may find that there's not a huge take rate on that, though. I do think that the extra cab, if you're able to get the extra cab, in the basic, a manual transmission with the 278 horsepower, that would be a fun little around town truck for contractors, stuff like that don't care about, most of the times they pull the seats out anyways. And there used to be, you could see it on Craigslist all the time, where people would buy these brand new minivans or whatever. They'd rip the seats out of them because they're using them for commercial use. And I think that's probably where Toyota's aiming for that particular truck, is more commercial use. But I think there's something for everybody. Toyota's, they love the overland crowd, but when they said, hey, there's no side doors on that, yeah, that instantly killed the overland crowd from probably wanting to use that, because you want to put a refrigerator back there, which makes the most sense. It's the most protected, it's the most insulated from weather to help keep your items cool. But if you can't get to it easily, I don't know, man. I don't know if they like that or not. But hey, where there's a will, there is a way. So let's see what Sam will have to say. Sam, Dave, do you think pre-runner? Dave, do you think pre-runner or SR5 manual? I'm lost, Sam, at what you're asking me. Do I think about? I'll be honest. I'm not a pre-runner guy. My pickup trucks are always going to be 4-wheel drive. Because my thought process behind it, I'm here in Middle Tennessee. we get a lot of snow and ice. Well, I would say we get a lot of ice and some snow. I always want four-wheel drive for that specific reason. If I need to get my family moved somewhere else safely, I feel like that's the best option for me. Now, if you're in Florida, you're down in Texas, you're California, you're dune running and all that stuff. You may not need a four-wheel drive system, and you will definitely gain some miles per gallon on that one. But Sam, to answer your question, I don't know, man. I've owned SR5s from Toyota. I had a Sequoia SR5. I loved it. I think Toyota really does. If you listen to what was it? I don't know if it was Bronco Talk Live we did the other night or not, but I think some of these brands have overcomplicated the system, the way to buy one of their vehicles, and I think I'm looking at Ford and GM specifically. When I say that, I think all their options that you can add, you can get an XL and add all these kind of options, and probably you're paying more for it than you would just a normal XLT. I like the way Nissan and Toyota pursue this. It's here, we build the truck. There's a couple little options you can have. Generally it's sticker packages, wheels might be an option, but past that, you're getting the truck we build you, and that's it. So I kind of like the fact that they're doing that, and especially like Trailhunter. Now, Trailhunter, we know it's going to have a lot of factory options that you can do, and I think a lot of this stuff will be bolt on from your dealership is how they'll handle that. But they definitely are tipping their toes into wanting to do some options. But it's always been, I know I'll look at the Ford build and price stuff, and it's always so damn difficult to understand. Their what 301A package versus their 400 package versus this package, and I think they do that on purpose to make it difficult to understand so that you might spend more. But I've debated this with Tim Esterthal of Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk many times. I think if you were able to, for one, I want to be able to direct buy a vehicle. I want it to be delivered to my dealership locally, but I want to order the vehicle I want to order. I don't want to have to deal with a salesperson who generally, if I'm purchasing it, I know more than he does. Now, I might be the exception to the rule that for many people, but I like the fact of direct sales, and it doesn't seem to have hurt Tesla much. Now, Tesla, it hurts them because they can't sell in every state. They need a showroom, which I kind of understand. There needs to be ways to service a vehicle, I guess, but there needs to be a merging of those two systems into one. But if I could order my pickup truck and with a checkbox, start checking the options I wanted, and you're still, I think the pandemic proved that people are willing to order a vehicle and wait. I know I have a large Bronco crowd that waited a long time for some of their Broncos, but I think it has proven to these companies that people will wait on a vehicle. You go down to Australia, you don't go to a car lot and just buy a brand new car, and unless there's a rare chance they actually have one sitting there. You order your vehicle how you want it, and in 4 to 6 weeks it's going to take to get there, and then you handle your business. And I would be happy to do business like that if I could do a checkbox options I want. Oh, I want that big 12-inch screen or 14-inch screen in this Toyota. Let me check that. Oh, I don't want to pay for some charging feature that I just don't want. Oh, I can uncheck that, and it doesn't screw up the way they're selling vehicles, because I worked in manufacturing. I worked for Nissan North America. Excuse me, in their plant here locally. I understand how this works. Trust me, there's no old school guy with a pen and paper going, okay, this next one coming up, we got to go pull this part real quick. It's way scheduled out. These things, the way they it's all scan barcode stuff that they do. They scan that part just like you would your Amazon when you're picking up delivery from them, the way they do it from their warehousing, and it goes right on the car. It's not complicated anymore. So I really do think that people would pay more for vehicles, and but it would be a much happier experience. But we're talking Toyota trucks right now, so let's get back to that. Tacoma adds a extra cab long bed configuration to enhance the interior functionality and cargo space, which there's some photos that I will bring up of that. It actually looks pretty cool. Available 14-inch available. So that's not standard. Available 14-inch touchscreen displays thelatest Toyota's audio multimedia system. Toyota's Safety Sense 3.0 is standard across all models, and that's pretty much, you're going to see that on all manufacturers now. They're being told by the federal government these features have to be on this vehicle. But it's been designed, engineered, and assembled in North America. That is right. That was a big deal. Toyota Japan, they don't necessarily understand the U.S. market. And so the days of them just building, a normal SR5 pickup truck and that's all you got, those are over. It may not fit your particular needs. Now, like I said earlier, the Toyota team, especially for Tacoma, are some of the most proud people I've ever met. I have a video driving the latest, the Tacoma, and we talked to a young gentleman. I don't recall his name off the top of my head, but he was generational, just generational Tacoma style owner, whatever the pickup, the little mini truck they used to have. And he went to school and specifically wanted to work for Toyota on that truck because he had such passion about it. So the idea that the North American audience is starting to get their hands to build what they want. And of course, Japan's going to make sure it's profitable, but that's pretty freaking rad. Now, I'm going to have to move some things around here because let me pull this out real quick. Got my screens are all wacky on me. I can't read everything and look at you guys at the same time. All right. Bring that back up. Let's see. After the release, kind of prefer the new Tacoma TRD Pro over the Ford Raptor Ranger. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, no, it's definitely a something to push. Let's see. Sam says, "Thanks, Dave. You answered my badly worded question. That's all right. I'm a badly worded guy, so I get more people crapping on my when I do a video, and I try to edit a lot of those out, but it's just my redneck brain, that pause it needs to think about the next thing, and it's that coming out of me. All right, so." And I went through some of this last night on a video that I had to delete, but redesigned from the ground up and built upon the TNGA-F global truck platform shared with the Tundra and Sequoia. The all-new Tacoma was designed, engineered for the U.S. market. Its fourth-generation Tacoma utilizes the new high-strength box ladder frame, which is, I've had a lot of people asking about that. Is it a fully boxed? I don't know if it's fully boxed, but they're claiming boxed, steel ladder frame, which is been standard for a long time. I don't know why people tout the ladder frame deal. And adds numerous features that off-road enthusiasts can play with. Features are fully available fully redesigned multi-link coil suspension, that's a big deal. That improves ride and handling and offers two powerful, efficient turbocharged engine powertrains, including a top-of-the-line iForce Max hybrid producing 326 horsepower and a massive 460 foot-pounds of torque. Now, once again, we talked about it just a little bit ago. Yeah, we're going to get and the engine, like the 2.4 engine, I forget it. There was like 3 different horsepowers I felt like on it, and we may come across it again here in a minute. But it was a little confusing for their normal one. But I have heard that the iForce Max will not be available till next spring. So if you were hoping to be one of the first to get it, you're going to wait a while. But there's nothing wrong with waiting. But so if you want that big torque, like I said, you're going to have to wait a while. But I think a lot of people are going to want to experience this truck and would be happy. I honestly, I know the horsepower I talk about, I always want the most horsepower, but I think around 300 horsepower in one of these mid-size trucks is probably more than 90% of the truck buyers want or need. I've never, even with my Frontier that I have out in the driveway, I've never, it's 265 horsepower or something like that. For the most part, I've towed many things with it. I've never felt like, man, this just does not have enough power, because I used to tow with a Nissan Xterra. I used to tow my 18-foot boat with that thing. And you talk about a dog, little 3.3 engine in that thing was a dog making 180 horsepower. And that's the only time I felt like, man, I don't have enough. All the modern vehicles, I've never experienced one towing that I was like, it just doesn't have enough. But, they're going to have it for you. Greg says, what are my take on the crazy seats? Let me get to that in just a second. The all-new Tacoma 24 will go on sale later this year, with the iForce Max models arriving early in 24. Manufacturer's suggested retail pricing will be announced closer to the sales date. Now, the way that Toyota did with Tundra is, oh gosh, I think it was November, maybe October is when you could put an order in, and then they would start being delivered late, and I mean late December for the next model year. I have a feeling that's how it's going to happen again. And of course, this is a high volume truck too, so they're going to crank them out. And they've got, I want to say, 2 plants, one in California and one in Mexico, that are going to be cranking these out for everybody. So they've been building the current truck, so they know. They moved it from Texas like 2.5, 3 years ago. So they know how to crank these things out, and I don't think we're going to see many problems, with fitment issues on the body lines and all that. I know some of the other brands sometimes experience that. The import brands usually are pretty quality first over volume. I think Toyota will have that thing out, and I think we're going to start seeing these in December. You're just your normal pickup truck. But Toyota's North. I don't want to get into that. Nobody cares about their design studios. Let's see. Let me get down here a little bit. So there is the iForce Max engine. Of course, you got TRD, stamped in there, and I believe they do offer some air boxes stuff. TRD you can buy after the fact or add it into your purchase price. But let's see. The truck is rated for 6,500 pounds, which is not. That's the one disappointment I've kind of had so far with this thing, is that's not really best in class at all. That's honestly, that's kind of a weak number, in my opinion, for towing. Now, Ford with their system is 7,500. Now, I will say, it seems like the big three like to maybe stretch their best in class payload and towing sometimes, where maybe it's not particularly that safe to do with some of the vehicles. And I won't say, I mean, obviously they have lawyers that go over this stuff, so it's probably safe. I won't say it's not, but it's probably taking it to the limit of what that little truck can do. Once again, the imports are usually a little more conservative, and 6,500 pounds is going to pull most things you want to pull. It's going to pull a nice little camper. It's gonna. My last Bronco show I did, we talked about campers with towing, and that only has like 3,500 pounds. So I think 6,500 is a nice little sweet spot, and it's going to pull your boat around. You can throw all your gear in the back of the truck, and you're still, because your payload in this is 1,709 is the payload of this thing, with properly equipped, I'm going to say. So you still have lots of room, average American, couple of those in there. All your beer and stuff you want to throw in the back of that truck, you're all right in this truck. But a couple things to talk about is you're going to get the 360 degree camera, so top down view, which aids overall visibility, and those tough to see areas when you're doing your trailer. And I haven't seen officially a photo, and they may have it up now. I haven't looked, but I have seen a picture. I don't know if TFL or somebody had posted a picture they took of the truck in tow mode. It's really freaking cool. I really like it. The only thing the problem I have with this, and I'm curious if you guys answer this for me. So all the above the 360 camera stuff for when you're parking and all that. The one thing that kind of aggravates me about it is the fact that it's not the color of your vehicle. It's usually this bland gray vehicle. First world problems, but it aggravates me, and I think it's such easy tech to just put in there. Once again, I'm telling you, everything is built for a specific truck or car when they do it. So they can have that radio programmed. I don't know. It's just one of those little things that kind of like, I find it goofy that in this day and age of the computer technology that we don't have that. But this was really cool, and this is all due to the hybrid technology. Is there is a 7% increase in the bed volume. Oh wait, nope, wrong part. With the towing. So when you're going downhill, you're using that extra torque from that electric motor to tow up a hill, something like you're going to Colorado in the passes. When you're going down, it's using that electric motor to brake as you go down, which is really nice. That's a really nice feature. Obviously, it's regenerating, and it's help charge the battery back as well. But I found that to be pretty cool, and it's a nice feature when towing. So if you do kind of your maxing your towing out in this, and you're going up in the mountainous areas, you can be confident knowing that you don't have to ride the brake all the way down, or you don't have to downshift. The truck should take care of it for you. So that's pretty nice. Let's see. Additional, we'll talk about that. Tacoma will we'll get into this. Tacoma will offer two powertrains, the 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder For the entry-level SR grades, this engine produces 228 horsepower and 243 foot-pounds of torque, which isn't bad. I would say I like round numbers. Couldn't you have not made it 230 horsepower? I'm sure they have their reasonings for it, but for all other grades, the output increases to 278 horsepower with 317 foot-pounds of torque, which is freaking amazing. That if you're not getting the iForce Max, you're still competing with the Fords in there, because what is it? The 2.3 I think is around 280 somewhere there horsepower with regular fuel, and pretty nice torque numbers with it. So that is still in line with those still has those big 317 torque numbers, which for towing or just getting out of a tight situation is nice. You're going to get a new 8-speed electronically controlled automatic transmission with the ECTI. Enthusiasts rejoice with a 6-speed intelligent manual transmission. The automatic rev matching and anti-stall technology is available. Manual transmission models produce 270 horsepower with 310 foot-pounds of torque. And it has the, where you can start in gear and all the fun features. But the match revving, I will say, I've got a Nissan Z in my driveway right now. I'm doing a week-long test with that car, and it has match revving. It's a manual transmission 6-speed, and I love the match revving of that. For one, it just sounds kind of cool. Makes you feel a little bit like a race car. So it might be fun in this truck, but it is still for people who may not be as experienced with the manual transmission. That might be actually a nice feature. Let's see. I've seen you guys are talking down here. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Bill says, I'm hoping for a price under 40K. It's going to be a tough one. Let's see. He's hoping also for 30 miles per gallon, which I think that's a tough one. I really do. I gotta scroll up. Bill's been chatty. Let's see. Bill's asking, where is the Toyota live unveil at 10:30 a.m.? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they had going on, because I haven't seen anything in a press release about that. I know they were doing. I talked about this earlier, but they were doing the reveal was supposed to be at 12:30 Central Time last night. It was going to do a live reveal from Hawaii, which I believe out there was like 7 their time, something like that. And that got spoiled by Tacoma 4G, and I probably didn't help the situation with that when I showed the press release accidentally. But yeah, that probably didn't help that. So they pushed everything up, and they gave everybody 30 minutes to be ready. They were dropping it, and I want to say around 7 last night they dropped it. So, but I don't know if that's screwed with any of their other plans, and I haven't heard any of their other plans on that, Bill. Sorry for that. Let's see. So limited, you're hoping for a limited in under 40K. Might be a tough one, man. Maybe 43 to 45, maybe. But no, the limited, that's a nice spec vehicle. And the sports stuff they're doing too is really nice. Let's see. They're debating in there, so we'll get back to this. Not a fan of the red interior on the TRD Pro. John Rossi says, I personally, John, I like that. I like bright colors, and you put that interior with a like the white truck, I think it pops great. But with the solar octane, whoo, buddy, I do like that. Sam says he does want the manual transmission, and I like shifting. I'm lazy. I like the sports car I have downstairs there. Fun. I'm going to take it out in a little bit, and I'm going to have a lot of fun in that car. But I'll be honest, a car like that, I would park in my garage and just on weekends have some fun with it. I don't want a daily a manual transmission, me personally. Everybody, I like to experience driving, don't get me wrong, but I just, for my daily life, sometimes I just want to get out of my head and not worry about those little things. Bird Dog Overland says, get back to work. I am at work, sir. Let's see. Culture Kiwi says, I'm really hoping I can order one. The worst thing I will say for ordering one of these bad boys is your local Toyota dealership. My local dealership, I probably never buy anything from, because during the pandemic, they weren't just like jacking prices up. They were crippling people like 15 to 20K on a lot of things that should not even been that close. Like Corollas, weird stuff. They were 10K over, and they didn't back down. And I've talked to them about maybe ordering something, maybe a Supra or something like that. And they still are like, no, even if you order, we're going to ding you. And I like a lot of the dealers, like, so we'll get into this in a minute, but so I'm trying to get a Ranger Raptor from Brighton Ford in Michigan. And I've talked to their sales personality over there, Du Bois. Sorry, I always say it wrong. But and they're if you order from them, you don't pay upcharge. Now, if it's sitting in the showroom, you might, especially if it was a Raptor or something like that, or a hot vehicle like this, you're liable to pay over. But if you're ordering a vehicle specifically what you want, they're not going to nail you for that. And that's the bummer I'm seeing with a lot of Toyota dealerships. Are they're still they know it's Toyota, so there's that Toyota tax, and they want to tax you on top of the Toyota tax. So that's my scary thing with ordering one right now is what it might take to get one. Now, Bird Dog Off-Road Adventures. Sorry, Bird Dog. It's hard to get used to your new name. You've been a Toyota guy, and you had, I believe, what the 4Runner that you did a lot of overlanding with, and so this is probably definitely up your alley. So let's get back into some of the trims, and then I'm going to discuss my thoughts on where I think the midsize truck market is at right now. Trailhunter is a bad mother. That's the only way to say it. They impressed me a lot with them doing this. And I want to bring this up while we talk, because I'm going to bring up just some B-roll that Toyota sent over, if I can find it. Maybe give me a second, stupid computer. But I want this B-roll playing when you guys get to see this. Where'd it go? Man, I need producer Kelly up here is what I need. Definitely what I need. Try this again. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome Friday, by the way. Share screen, windows, and there it is. All right, now we can do this. So I'm going to let this play as we kind of talk about this just a little bit. So this is some B-roll that Toyota sent over on this thing, and this thing is a nice setup. I'm happy to see the fact that they they know their audience. They know the overland crowd. They wanted to give the overland crowd something they can buy a factory vehicle pretty much how they want it. Now the roof racks and stuff, I'm in the sport racks. I'm not big on the sport rack of that. The roof rack's pretty cool, but I like the fact the wheels, as you can see there, you're going to get a semi-aggressive tire. I'm not a big fan of Goodyear tires, especially this setup of Wrangler. But it looks like you're going to get a nice rock rail in that thing, which is probably one of the better optioned rock rails that I've seen, honestly. The rack and everything about this looks pretty good quality. ARB's stamped on there, so ARB is not putting their name on anything that's just subpar. The front of this vehicle, if you look at it, you're going to get those nice fog lights. You're going to get the center LED bar, which is a rigid light bar. You're going to get the snorkel there as well. And let me pause this here. All right, so you can see it's got the snorkel up here. You're getting the iForce Max badging. Nothing crazy up here. I believe you get a skids. I believe it has full skids if I remember right. But the fact that you're getting this nice light bar in there, which I've messed with on the TRD Pro stuff of theirs, it's actually pretty nice. Let me see if we get any better shots that stream up here real quick. This is the moneymaker right here. What you're going to start paying for is you're going to get the I can't think. Oh man, OEMU. I never can say it right. Tuned shocks for this thing, which is a big deal. Then they didn't just throw some parts. ARB just didn't say, "Hey, we have these parts." They co-developed these parts with Toyota to put on this specific vehicle. And the rear bumper of this thing, that's badass, man. I probably would never change that bumper. And I'm a guy that likes to generally my off-road vehicles. I want to make them my own, but I want to put quality parts on there. That looks pretty capable right there. And the tow hooks, as you can see, this is a big thing. Toyota took a lot of heat that the Tundra didn't have tow hooks. And I think that's just for crash testing safety purposes. They know vehicles like this will definitely need those. but it looks good. I like all the little sensors look nicely tucked in. Everything about it looks pretty cool. I like, if you notice right here, the little buttons on the Tundras. They only do this on the driver's side. The little button there, it drops the tailgate down. But on Tacoma, they've done it on both sides, which is a no-brainer. I don't know why they didn't think of it on the big truck, and I'm sure it'll quietly be adapted to the big truck. But you're getting a little spoiler there. You can see, once again, these are removable molly panels. I would personally, I'm not a fan of the sport bars on any truck. I've never seen one unless it's the old 70s from the Fall Guy days, where he had that his C10 and he had a sport bar on there. That's about the only acceptable sport bars for me. But the snorkel looks great. I know Bronco people, you're going to like, hey, you like that one, but not ours. I like this one in the fact that, it doesn't have a mirror going through the side of it. It puts this big bulge up there. It just quietly blends in with the vehicle. So I think that's very nice. Once again, you're going to get these tow hooks. These are all made by ARB. So they're all red, and you got to have colored tow hooks now. You got to be one of the cool kids on the block, and you got to have the colored tow hooks. But ultimately, this thing looks good. The mud flaps are going to go ASAP if I had this. But these rock sliders, once again, look great. I would like to see a little bit more of a kick out on them, but these are factory rock rails, and I'm sure there's some, once again, crash test something that why they can't do it. But you are getting these nice plastic fenders out here, something that are kind of matted, which I like. That may be one of the things on the TRD Pro version that I really don't like. But as you can see, these fenders look aggressive. This thing, it looks mean. I think if you were to put a more aggressive tire on there, something a little bit more luggy, that I think it would really make all the aggressive body lines look fun. There you can see the badging, the Trailhunter badging, but here you can see all the aggressive lines, and that's something I know Tundra guys out there going, hey, they just copied us, and it's like, no, if you look at this truck, those body lines are a lot different. So there you can see the ARB tow hooks. Kind of let this play again. I like the fact that the Toyota knows their audience, knows ARB is the king of all things overland. So let's go with the king company of overland, and let's partner with them. So I'm curious where you guys are at that, though. I would be curious if you are you excited the fact that they're using ARB parts. Trailhunter badge, I've seen this. I was at the Chicago Auto Show. They had their Tundra version of this up there. I've seen the badge. Looks great. I will say the one that I saw there looked 3D printed. This one looks a little bit more finished than what I saw. Now here's where the moneymaker is for this truck. The tuning of this, the old man EMU, I don't know why I'm singling out each letter, but this they do quality suspension work, man. They've done it for a long time now. I know for the Xteras and stuff, that was for Nissan. They offered a lift kit that they did, and it was a really nice riding kit, and it's really quality. So I'm very excited by this, and I will be excited to do some test drives with that thing. But overall, that thing looks great. That's a great looking vehicle. And Bird Dog, where are you at with this truck, man? I'm curious. Would you buy a factory built overland rig? But let's see. Sam has a question of what happened to the Bronco pickup to compete with the Gladiator. I know Ford, there was some photos where they were benchmarking Gladiators again. I will say, Gladiator sold well during the pandemic, but if you look at the sales, they're starting to slow down. I've got one used in my driveway that it's been a nightmare trying to get rid of. I think there's definitely a good solid crowd for that truck. It's probably going to be a 50 to 60,000 sale truck, which isn't bad. But Jeep is used to higher volumes of that with the Wranglers, and the Gladiator does steal volume away from Wrangler a little bit. So, and with Ford bringing their Broncos on, does that make Jeep want to keep that truck around, or do they offer some kind of weird Wrangler with a tiny bed or something? Kind of like what the old Hummer T3s or H3s, whatever they were called, used to do. So I don't know on that one, man. It would have been cool in this version though if they would have had removable doors. Wouldn't that have been a badass truck if Toyota would have done that with a Trailhunter edition only and did some way of doing a removable door? Would you be interested in a pickup truck that actually has factory removable doors? That might be something to be excited by. Let's see. Birdog says, love the Trailhunter wheel design though. No, those are great. Those are great looking wheels. The bronze with that color looks great. And I'm not normally a big bronze guy, but I think that definitely looks great. Next up, I want to pull up the fan favorite, I think. And I'm probably not going to pull up where you want to see this truck just yet, but we'll do this. So here is your TRD Pro. Now, a lot of people have been asking, "Hey, where does this truck fit in your world of Raptor?" For one, they're playing in two different markets. TRD Pro, this Toyota generally focuses more on rock crawlish. I won't say completely rock crawling vehicles, but overland to rock crawl, where the Raptor, their Ford F1 or Ranger Raptor, is more of a sort of can off-road that way, but is more for just high-speed desert running. So I think they slightly play in two different crowds. Now, I've said for a long time, and you guys know I'm trying to get a Ranger Raptor because I want to experience that vehicle. But I've said for a long time that I thought the Colorado was a better looking vehicle, and I still think so. I think the design of the new Colorado is, if they just put a V6 in that thing, making 320, 350 horsepower, that may be the next truck in my driveway. Well, Toyota comes out here, and me and Kelly, we did 2 videos on the Sequoia, and we've done one on the TRD Pro Tundra. And I think, and I'm being honest, I think if I were to stack the interiors of those 3 trucks, we'll say 4 with Frontier, I'm going to say number 4 is Frontier. No, I'm going to say probably number 4 would be the Trail Boss Colorado. I think the interior is so bland. Then I would put Frontier. Then I'm going to put Ranger, but I'm going to put Toyota's interiors at number 1 right now. They spend a lot of time to make their interiors look great. And this one here, I love. I'm going to put it up. I love the red of the TRD Pro. I wish you could maybe order a little bit more mellow version of that. But I think design-wise on this thing, I think Toyota might kick Colorado off my top design list right now. And you might be going, well, man, we've seen this truck for a while. We have, but we haven't. You know, the Tacoma gets the light that comes all the way down here. It just looks weird. They've played into that a little bit with these fake vents. They do not look active at all. The bulge, this I don't call it octagon or whatever shape here, is very reminiscent of the previous Tundra, which I like. This truck definitely pays homage to the last truck. They didn't just completely freak their audience out and redesign it just completely different. Even the lights, if you think about it, if these lights were to round out here a little bit, would be very close to where the current Tacoma is. But I think I like the way they do their factory fog lights. I love the fact that they're putting that LED bar in there from factory. And think about it, it's a factory LED bar that you if you have a problem with it, guess what? You go to the dealership and they take care of it for you. You're not scrambling with some aftermarket company that had a Black Friday sale that they disappeared real quick, and then you're stuck with a light bar that you can't get fixed or replaced. But I really do. I think this truck looks aggressive. This little uptick right here, I don't know if it's just the photo. That's the only kind of thing about the lights that I've just been kind of like, eh. And I've seen it a little bit. It kind of reminds me of bullhorns a little bit. But the aggressive hood looks great. Now, kind of, remember Dodge or Ram does that big bulge hood for their V8s. So that's kind of cool that you kind of get that big bulge like that. It makes you feel aggressive. And a truck like this, you want to get in a truck and feel aggressive. And I think that's why those red seats, think about it, those red seats are aggressive. Yes, like you cannot hide from the fact that you got these big bright seats. But Lamborghini doesn't do boring colors at all. They want aggressive colors because they want their customers to feel the excitement of the vehicle. And I think Toyota plays in that very well with the TRD Pro. Now, I'm hoping these are black gloss fenders. I'm hoping I actually like the kind of camoed out version that they do with the Tundra. I'm hoping maybe that's an optional thing. I'm not sure. I don't dislike the black gloss, but I just foresee every truck, every tree limb, everything I drive by, just scratching it up and just making it look really worn really quickly. But let's see. Any decent information on interior space, like higher ceiling? I never cared for the cramped feel of the current version. I do like the look of this model. I prefer straight lines. I've not dug into seen anything on that just yet. Now they will be trickling more information out on this. I know. Hopefully, I can get my buddy Tim Esterthal back on here on the Midsize Truck Show. He was able to sit in this. He was in Hawaii for the press release, and damn it, Toyota, I was not. But I will be curious. And I know him and Jill Simonillo, they did a video of sitting in one of these in the rain. And I don't know in their video, I didn't get to watch it all, but they may talk about the seating height because Tim was big on that, about the seating position in the previous generation was just not great. So you may check over there. I hate to tell somebody to leave my channel, but you may want to check on his videos about that. Watch the TFL review. They said it was more roomy. And definitely they're going to. These trucks have to be, us Americans keep getting bigger. And I think Toyota definitely listened. They know the cab space wasn't the best in class for that vehicle, but let's let this play a little bit and see what else pops up here. All right, so the wheels on this thing, those wheels look great. Toyota's always done a great factory like TRD style wheel. Those things look great, but once again, can you guys imagine like every tree limb you're out exploring through the, us on the East Coast, we have a lot of tight areas we go through. Can you imagine every limb scratching those things up? I love the aggressiveness of it, and I love how all these lines, everything plays well together. I like the aggressive, just the harsh brakes. I'm big on that. I like harsh brakes like that. So it looks cool. Once again, you can see the bulge up there. I'm assuming this is an active air vent on that, or air intake. The two-tone, I like the two-tone. I've already seen feedback where people are like, I hope, you can get it in one color. Definitely, I don't know if it was TRD John or somebody, they had a video showing up here where it's actually like two different pieces. And so maybe you can wrap it if you got a version like this. If this is how the TRD Pro comes, two-tone like that, maybe you'll be able to wrap it. I don't know. A lot of options on that. But the side profile of this vehicle, I think looks excellent. Let's see. There's your grill. There you can see the rigid light. See the camera out front. The camera blends real well. That's something that I'm glad to start seeing manufacturers able to blend their cameras in a little bit better. I think the late 2010s there, I think, when cameras were really starting to get in the front of these vehicles, that sometimes they didn't blend them as well. And so I'm kind of happy to see that being blent in. There's those headlights again. As you can see, little Easter egg of sorts, TRD Pro, which, guys, I'm over the TRD or the Easter egg, got to hide everything in a truck game. Like, I have I don't care. And if you do, that's awesome. But I understand for these lights because they are a specific light they're using that's different, obviously than their lower trim vehicles. But I'm just over that. I don't need my lights to walk by them and go, oh, I have a TRD Pro. No shit, really. Let's get to this B-roll just a little faster. There, once again, you can see a close up of those wheels. I like those a lot. They remind me a sort of the AVE or AVE or AEV, the little round sort of wheels they do. I think they put them on their Rams when they do the Ram stuff. Kind of remind me of that a little bit. But those tires, I'm not a fan of Goodyear tires, the Wranglers of like they're putting on those. And I've said it for a while, and I keep saying it because they personally told me this, that they put a weaker all-terrain tire on there because they know you're going to go to the tire store and buy what you want to put under the vehicle anyways. There's a close-up. You can see the mud splattered on that. Once again, hopefully they take some feedback on that. And it looks great probably in a 3D rendering. It was great. But I think practicality, which normally Toyota knows their crowd pretty well. And I don't know. I'm probably just harping on that for no reason. But I know I got some running footage of this. But there we go. Look at the rear of this thing. This thing looks wide for one thing. And definitely that tailgate makes this thing with the plastic spoiler there. Definitely gives you the vibe of, oh, that's the, that's definitely Tundra. Definitely has the vibe of that with the way the lines do here. This little plastic, I'm assuming it's plastic. It's a little piece here. I'm a little lost at what's going on there. I'm sure it's just because of the ARB bumper and the way they're trying to get a clearance there. It doesn't look bad. You can see the iForce Max badge on there. I'm one of probably the few that actually like their taillights of these things. I would have a Tundra in a heartbeat. But I like the stamping of this. I've been torn on it in the past. Um, I, I'm kind of well. Let me rephrase that. I've been over the stamping of the tailgates, but this on a TRD Pro, this is a loud in-your-face vehicle, so I'm okay with that. They'll do Tacoma back here on their normal ones. I'm pretty sure I've seen that. I'm just kind of over that. Give me the badging back. But as you can see here, rear slide glass on there. You know, obviously we're not getting the full glass down version. Do they offer that still? I haven't seen anything talking about that just yet. That's a big staple of Toyota. They've kind of have some heritage with their trucks of the full glass roll down. So would they be able to do that in the little truck? I don't know. Okay, here we go. Here's some running footage that we'll bring up and talk about. This thing looks aggressive as hell. I like the way this truck looks. Once again, I still feel like it definitely carries some of the old vibes of the previous generation, and I'm happy about that. You can't say that about the current Colorado. You can't say that about the current Ranger. There's no vibes of the previous truck to that. The Frontier looks like a old 3G, you know, a little bit of a Tacoma. And it does have some Nissan vibes to it, but this thing running looks smooth as running. Now, obviously, this is a normal trail, but they're running at speed. Don't see it jumping around, being all crazy. Let's get there. You can see it with the Trailhunter there, and running around here. It's going to make some splashies. Gotta have the splashies if you're out there running these things, right? Overall, though, I like this. If I'm gonna out of the two there, I'm probably the Trailhunter wouldn't be on my list of the out of the Toyota trucks. Maybe an SR5. I've often found a lot of value with the SR5 trim. But I think if I were going to spend, I think it's this one right here, the TRD Pro. And as I get to my thoughts, I want to talk about my thoughts a little bit of this thing versus the Ranger, because I hinted on it a little bit. I've often said that I'm a horsepower guy. I'm an old school. I want the biggest engine option I can get. I want the most horsepower I can get. So if I stay true to that, then it's the Ranger all day long. The Ranger has everything I would be looking for power wise. If I'm going for probably the most advanced truck, I don't know if you want, you know, the Raptor has the Watts link in the rear, which is nice for high speed running. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about it for saying crawling, what I would do, where I would take this truck, some light rock crawling. I think this might be a better off-road truck, in my opinion. I think if you look at the electrical aspect of it, where you can have all that torque, which torque is king off-road, and I always look at things of how I'm going to use them. I think this, and I know Ford's got the, you know, with the Ranger, they talk about the heavy torque of that engine. I think this one just might be a better off-road platform than the Ranger Raptor. Now, does that mean I'm changing my mind and not wanting to get a Ranger Raptor? No. I want to experience that truck because that's a truck I've been dreaming about for the last 6 years or so, that 7-8 years that it's been in Australia. I want to experience that truck, and mid-sized trucks are my favorite of the trucks. That's why there's not a new Tundra or anything in the driveway, because I've been waiting to see what the mid-sized market has. I love the aggressiveness. Let me pull this up too. Something Ford does not do extremely well, I think, with the interior space, is make them look aggressive enough. Now, let me pull this up here. When I saw this in the Tundra, I wasn't a big fan of it. Just safety wise doesn't seem smart. I'm sure if they've thought about that. I don't know. I just can see a little kid's head going into that for some weird reason. But this dash, super aggressive. I ding Ford, and I talked about this. I want to say maybe I talked about this in a video I dropped today, that Ford puts the start button in the normal key position because they're just cheapening out on that, because they're still going to offer a key version of like an XL truck of the Ranger. And so they have a key there, and it's just easy to put that little start button right there where the key goes and be done with it. I don't like that. I like the fact on my Bronco that it's separated. I don't know. It's just something about it. There's a coolness factor of this. And I just like the fact, oh, just reach over there and maybe it's some weird thing in my head of like, oh, people see that, oh, I've got the latest tech. Maybe there's something to that. But look at that TRD in red up there like that. That's aggressive, man. It makes you think I'm in a fighter jet of sorts. And a vehicle like the TRD Pro, you want to feel super aggressive. That's why it has all this red. That's definitely why there's the red in the handles and everything. So you want to feel like, you're badass. Now it looks like you're gonna have some space up here, storage space of sorts. You're gonna have your wireless charging there, which they've gotten so dinged on the Tundra of that it doesn't work great. I know Jill Simonillo, she's had a lot of issues when she's tested these vehicles that it just doesn't seem to work great. I know our buddy here, Apple Phone, they're so proprietary on the wattage for charging of them, which makes it a nightmare for everybody. But you got two. Looks like they've gone away from the USB A, and they're just strictly going with C now for their charging, which I think you're going to see over the next 5 years. You're going to see just A disappear, and everybody goes strictly to C. I know even Apple is pushing hard. They're going to go away from their proprietary Lightning into a normal USB because they're being forced to. But that's pretty cool. You're still going to get the auxiliary charger there. I love this dash layout here. Big knobs. Looks like, yeah, there's your volume for your radio. And very feng shui there. Very balanced, which is cool. Air vents look nice. Though I do like the previous generation. I like big round air vents. I something about them that I can like turn that knob how I want the air to blow out. First world problems. I'm sure I'm being goofy. But heated and cooled seats in these things, I don't know any other midsize truck doing that. I'm not sure if the Z71 gets that or not for Colorado. Heated seats, I know, but that right there, having cooled seats, Kelly would, if I told her this, that, hey, I want to go to the TRD Pro, she would see the cooled seats and be like, hell yeah, let's do it. She loves cooled seats. But all the knobs on this, they look very nice, look heavy. So when I'm clicking something like that, I want to feel like I'm doing it. It's just not cheap. I said this last night in my live video that I had to delete. These the switches over here in the steering wheel. Let's see if we can get over there a little bit more. So look how they're shaped. Big thing for me. Like when you're driving, you got your hand positions. Here, let me pull this up a little bit. So you're driving. Look what like your thumbs just seem to fit in those positions. Now, as you can see here, I believe that says cancel, and this is your left or right. So I'm assuming if you're going through yours. Obviously there's no CD, but if you're going through your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto functions that way, looks like volume right here. There's your answering your phone for dialing. This is your hang up. This is a menu option for returning up there. There's your cruise control, your radar distance, your modes here. Can't really tell much about that. And we're obviously going to have your cruise control, your adjustments there. But I like how they've thought of that, how they have these big kind of fat that just your thumb seems to fit in there. And even look at this groove right here. It's just like for your thumb to sort of rest there naturally. Looks cool. As you can see here, look at the big bump out. This is definitely feels like a racing steering wheel, as it should for the TRD Pro. And these are little things that I noticed in Raptor. Raptor has a nice steering wheel. But I will say, I don't think it has this nice of a steering wheel. This is pretty nice. I mean, look at all the cushion around here. I'm not big on how big the TRD Pro is right there. Quit. As you can see there, I'm not big on how big that TRD Pro is down there. But once again, a vehicle like this is going to be a little bit obnoxious. So I can't ding it too much there. You can see the speakers up here. You got the removable speaker up here, which I think is just gimmick. I have zero interest in probably ever using that. The gauges they have between Toyota and Jeep, they have some of the nicest crisp gauges out there. They just the fonts they use are real crisp, and I really like it. And once again, thank you YouTube Car Spotters Guide. You guys know I like weird super chats, so I don't care how much it is. That's just awesome that you $12.39. You went with a crazy number. And yes, that is for the travel fund because, guys, as you know, traveling is expensive. We were supposed to be next week in Wisconsin for a press event, and honestly, just my travel funds are getting pretty tight. So I greatly appreciate that, YouTube Car Spotters Guide. So we had to cancel out of that one. And I got the list of cars and trucks today, and I'm kicking myself that I couldn't make that work out. But it's Wisconsin in the spring. I don't know. I'd like to be in Wisconsin maybe in the summer. Armrest up here. All this padding up here looks great. Let's see if we can get a better shot. I can't remember in this B-roll if it has any better shots. Well, look at the pedals down there. Look aggressive. That's cool. Your trailer braking over here. That's nice. Let's see what else you got for us. We got another pano here. Come on. I got some water there, Toyota. Come on. You didn't get that truck completely clean. Where are you guys at with this sort of fake carbon fiber look to this? Is it do they have too much going on? I don't think so. But speaker, little tweeter speaker up here. You got one here. I know there's that center one up here. This thing will probably have like a 10 speaker radio system, which anything has to be better than the what Ford puts in the Bronco. Awful sound system. Lockable glove box there, which is cool. I would have liked to seen them do something like Ford did with the box there. Now here you can see there's that sway bar disconnect button. I don't know if it's got a better shot of this. Let me zoom through here real quick. I apologize. I know you're probably going, hey man, I'm trying to see that. I want to see if there we go. There's a better. So there is your sway bar disconnect button, which is first of its kind, I believe, in midsize trucks. That's rad. And I've heard a lot of people go, hey, why didn't Ford do that? Why did Ford not do that in the Ranger? And the only thing I can think of, and this is pure speculation, is that I've been told that the same rack is pretty much the same rack and pinion in this as is in basically the Ranger and Bronco. I don't know if Dana developed it or who developed that, but I don't know if maybe there was Ford had exclusive use in the off-road SUV segment, and then Toyota maybe there was some development together. I'm just speculating that Toyota got to use it in the trucks first, and then after so many years, you can trickle that in. But pure speculation. But the fact that they have that is really nice. Now, the fact that there's no front locker button right there, that's where I'm going to ding this truck a little bit, and that's where Ranger Raptor wins out. It's going to have a nice front locker, which for off-roading, that's a big deal to me. Such an easy button, man. And to teach new people, how it helps control a vehicle in off-road situations, that's a big deal to me. Parking brake here. I can't tell really what that is. Hopefully there's an auto off, so you can turn the auto on or off in this. These dials look beefy. Look at that. There's your four-wheel high, low over here, high in the middle, and two-wheel drive. I do believe, what was it? The limited version of this truck is going to get all-time four-wheel drive, which, once again, for my Ranger press event, that was one of the number one things that people were upset about they didn't see on the Ranger, and I didn't get enough. Ford didn't give us a great press release like Toyota's done on this one. And I'm not dinging Ford. It's just each company has how they want to release it. But this big knob up here looks great. Looks like drive mode there. Tow and haul mode. Looks like your crawl button right there. I can't really manual shift maybe. I can't tell. These in the Tundra, this shifter is badass. I like the shifters, and I hate the previous Tacoma shifter. I hate that. But in the full size truck, I really do like the feel of the shifter, the nice leather touches to it. Looks great. I like the fact that they separated the cups this way. I said this, I believe, in that live stream last night, that it aggravates me to no end in my Frontier that they're kind of in line, because I'll go to reach for something between the armrest, and if somebody's in my truck that has a drink with a straw in it, my arm always touches their straw when I'm trying to reach for the drink. I feel gross about it. I'm sure it's just the way my mind works, but I like the fact that they're just separated. So good deal, Toyota. Thank you. Let's see what else we got going on here. Trying to go through here again. So somebody was saying right here, who was it? Bird Dog says, I would lose the Toyota in the dash. I like it. I just wished it would have been imprinted, not 3D out. But in the full size truck, though, I will say, Jody, it's not as big a deal as it looks. Is somebody going to rub their arm across that somehow? Or yes, you'll scratch your arm on that stuff, but it's really not a huge deal. Overall, though, the interior of this thing looks pretty badass. Now, I know somebody asked me about the seats. It looks like you're going to get some auxiliary buttons there. Oh, that's nice. Put the bed down. Your lights, your TRD light bar down there. Looks pretty cool. Now, let me see if I can get you guys a picture of these seats real quick, because I do want to talk about those seats, because in the press release, I'm not going to pull the press release back up, but there was some craziness about these seats. And I didn't see it till somebody had posted them up today. I didn't catch all the little pieces. You know, most of the time people talk about seats, it's just BS. You know, Nissan, I will say their zero gravity seats they're comfortable, but I don't know that they're any different than anything else. I really don't. I don't know that the makeup of those seats, and I'm not going to tear a seat apart to figure that one out. I'm looking, guys, for a photo of that seat, so bear with me. Oh, here they are. So these seats look pretty rad. It's got to download real quick because I have not used these in any of my media. All right, let's bring these up. So these are the back of the new seats from Toyota, and as you can see, they look like, they look super racy. I don't know what this is. There an airbag in there or something? Wouldn't that be actually? I mean, could you imagine? Then it shoves the person through the front glass. But I don't know what this here is about. But very bulky looking. Hopefully, they don't take too much space away from the passengers' ride comforts. Once again, I like the leather seats. It's nice that they didn't forget about the passengers wanting to know they're riding in a TRD Pro. And handles, grab handles, which that was another thing from the Ford stuff that people were fussing about. But let me download a higher resolution of this, because you guys deserve a crisp version of this thing. So from their media here, there we go. All right, now we can see these things. So in the back of this, these are, look, it says air. I believe you can hook up an air tank to these things to adjust the comfort. I think that's what I'm trying to figure out how this works, but this looks to be a piston of some sorts. There looks to be like an on-off, like you can lock them in position or not. But these seats are pretty freaking crazy. I mean, this is in the press release, so I have to assume this is how they're going to come. But that looks like real carbon fiber all through there. But let's see. So side adjustment over here. So is it like the old Reebok pump? The pump shoes that you can, adjust to, fit your personal needs. But here's definitely a adjustment up and down. So do you find your, is this like those sleep setting beds? You find the setting that works for you. And then how does that work in a crash? You see PSI. So if something's holding air, there's a small tank of, I mean, I don't know. I can only imagine like the craziness of how do you get that through safety, but it seems to work. But something I've just now noticed, no air vents back here. Ranger took a lot of heat for that. I want to say, I can't remember if Frontier has them or not. And maybe I'm making a big deal out of nothing there, but no air vents back there for your passengers. I know full-size trucks get that a lot, but it looks like you're going to get two C's there. Inverter, that's really nice. You can see what else we can make out from this. Real grab handles. Oh, you can see the sunroof there, which is something we have not seen in the Ranger. I don't recall in Chevrolet if they've got sunroofs or not. I just don't recall if they do. I apologize. But this interior looks great, man. I love the red and black with it. I might have not put the TRD Pro back there and left it all up front. I have found that some brands seem to they make the fronts look really cool, then the backs always look plain. So it's nice to see that Toyota hasn't forgot about their passengers. This looks like almost a pure 4-seater instead of a maybe potential 5-seater in there. So I don't know what this bump's about, but we'll definitely get more on that as the weeks go by. You know they're gonna They're definitely going to have more photos show up to this, but I was hoping to see the rear seating of this, but I don't see any photos. Now, one thing I want to bring this up, and hopefully you guys like it. The sport version, Tacoma Sport. Now, here is the interior of the Sport. Make this bigger for everybody. But I like bringing the color in. That's pretty cool. It looks like it's a blue truck, best I can tell. So maybe it's color matching of the vehicle you're in. The glove box maybe stands out a little bit weird to me, but that's probably just me overthinking that. Once again, you can tell it's a TRD version because you're getting a TRD start button, which is what they like to do. But looks kind of roughish materials on there, which I think would hold up well. The one thing I have seen that Ford and Toyota have done well is the materials don't look like they're going to scratch up easily. So they put a lot of thought into, well, especially Toyota and I know like Jeep should know this as well too, but high areas where it'll scratch. If you look at the Colorado, it's all glass piano finish, and it just looks like it's going to wear fast, in my personal opinion. But since this does not have the wireless charging there, and this is a manual transmission, you can see where your parking brake is, where they would have put the wireless charger there, or is there a wireless charger there? It's kind of hard to tell, or that maybe it's just a place for your phone. But you can see the wattage of the charging there. It's pretty cool. The manual transmission itself looks pretty rad. Seeing those 3 pedals, everybody was excited by that. You can definitely tell, though, this is a lower trim, but you're still seeing those buttons like I was talking about. There we go. We can see a little bit clearer. So there's your mode button. And over here, there's your phone stuff, your speak to whatever you need. I don't know if it's going to do anything with Siri or Android Auto, but here's all your light buttons, your auxiliary switches there. Like I said, they always do really crystal clear. Their screens are always crystal clear. Now, hopefully something they fixed, and I don't remember it in the Tundra, is the camera quality. Because I will say now, the one thing you'll see in my review of the Z that I have coming up is Nissan built an extremely amazing vehicle and put one of the worst backup cameras I've ever seen in a mid $50,000 car. Just awful. So I'm hoping that when you see the backup camera up here on this monitor, that it looks really nice. I know people have been dinging them about, it's sticking. I seen it in the Facebook groups today. I mean, I love everything, but the radio sticks way up in the air, and it's like you got to give and take. So, do you want some HVAC, some actual big buttons, some physical things? Then you've got to push all this up here. So, in my opinion, I like the interior of this. All the trucks I've seen of this so far, all the trims, I think it looks great. Let's see, definitely a cloth seat, as we can tell. There's carpet in there, no floor mat that I'm seeing, though I'm sure there's a floor mat there. I can see the dead pedal, but what do we got over here? Let me try to zoom in here. Looks like you're still going to get those kind of Molly style panel in the lower trim doors, which I think is pretty cool. Look, there's a handle there. So they've been able to make a handle work with the airbags. And then they have a handle here. You can see the grip of it. I'm not a big fan of that. And I don't know if they have if they have a better photo. Let me see. I don't think they, well, let me see here if this one pulls up in time. All right, we'll add this to the stream. So they kind of, I won't say copy Ford necessarily, but Ford has, Frontier has this on both sides, and just a little grab handle. It's small. This looks like they were thinking of the way Ford did with the Bronco, and they put the little Molly's side so you can do attachments and stuff. And you can see looks like it does have wireless charging, but it just sticks out so much. And it seems like with the with the shifting over here, it might bang your hand on that. I doubt you will, but these are just thoughts that are going through my head. But look at the close up of these buttons. These look nice. Those buttons look really nice. I like that a lot. You can see here the heavy duty look of the your fan, your HVAC controls there. But yeah, that's kind of odd to me. Let's see what you guys are. Where are you guys at with this truck? I've been doing all the talking. Baseball Geek, no lift on any trims except the Pro and Trailhunter. That's from what I know right now. I've not dug into completely through the press release just yet, but you know, there's a lot of lift companies out there for Toyota, and you know they're itching. There's what Toy Tech, their mouth's watering to get a hold of this vehicle, and I know some manufacturers that already got a hold of these vehicles to start developing stuff for. So maybe by the time of rollout, you will already have the option of getting lifts for this. But let's see. The reviews were positive on the camera resolution. I think I know the current generation Tacoma and the 4Runner and stuff are just awful. I mean, probably like 12 years ago it was great, but for today's standards was just awful. The best one I've experienced so far is Jeep. Jeep has the most highest resolution cameras. They look great. And I hate to say, I just don't remember. It was last summer when I did the last ride in the Tundra, so I just don't remember what it was like. But let's see here. Here's another one that I download because I'm curious. For Trailhunter, this is pretty rad. You guys might like this. Find the right button. So Trailhunter, look at the skid. Look at the skid for Trailhunter. It's stamped in there, Trailhunter. You got their little logo for that. Look, that looks pretty cool. Oh, look, 4 guys. Yeah. Tie rod there. Think you're gonna break those? Maybe. I don't know. They look pretty. Look at those big reservoirs on the coil. The massive reservoir, but look at the little thin tie rod right there. But you want those to break. I'm telling you. People think, oh, I don't want those to break on the trails. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to fix, but it's an easier fix than the whole steering rack. Let's see what else we can see. Looks like a skid for the gas tank there. Skid there, skid here. And what kind of bolts are they using? Hard to tell. Hard to tell on that, but I like the fact that they've stamped that. That looks really cool. But I'm squirreling over here. Let me get back to you guys. Let's see. Sam says, in my opinion, TRD Sport has the best looking interior. You might be right if you like that kind of the colored to that. Brandon says those seats have an off-road or on-road and off-road setting, if I remember correctly. You definitely, though, it looks like you somehow plug in some air to adjust those seats. It's kind of interesting. I would love some more information on the TRD off-road trim. Definitely. As soon as we get more high on each model information, we will definitely break that out. Bird Dog says seats are nice, but probably way overkill for 99% of the buyers. I totally 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. But wouldn't it be like people buy cars because you want to press your neighbors sometimes, and your neighbors see like the space technology seats and whatever it is, and be like, dude, you taking this thing out to race? You're like, yeah, Greg says TFL compared them to a gimbal. Which I'm 100% sure that you're probably right on that. Let's see. Brandon says, I believe you just pumped those seats up manually, but I'm not sure. That's what it looked like to me because you had the little adjustments. Let's see if I can pull those back up real quick. Yeah, you had the it looked like there was a little cap, honestly, that you covered up for the seats. Let's see here. If I can find my downloads. I'll bring this back up for you guys. Yes, so these are definitely look like caps. You can see the little grips to them. They definitely they're made to pop off there, and you manually adjust those. But yeah, it's still trippy. It's still trippy technology that I dig. Let's see. Pre-runner has a front lift. The pre-runner does have a what was it, like a 1.5 inch in the front and 1 inch in the rear lift, if I remember right. That is correct. Old Man Emu and ARB is a game changer. I would 100% agree, because ARB is just not going to throw their name on something just to license their name out. It's going to be a good quality product. So I think you're correct on that. And plus, I mean, that's what they do. This is what they do. So go to the people. Don't try to rewrite. Don't change the game. Go grab the pieces that somebody else you're using. Let them change the game for you. Don't throw all the money. Spend the money on the truck, develop that, and let somebody else come in and finalize the cool parts of it. Let's see. So who's going to be second place after the Toyota trucks? That's a good question, man. Let's see. John Rossi says, I think they're going to come out with a 450 horsepower Raptor fighter in a year or two. I don't think so, John. And why I say that, pardon me, I got to adjust. Toyota has no interest in, they are the game. When you're the game, you have no interest in going and battling for, what are they going to battle for second place in the higher output desert runner when they're already selling 200,000+ of trucks a year. I just wouldn't agree with you on that one. Let's see. First mod, remove the air dam. Yes, definitely. On that lower trim one, man, that air dam seems like it's a foot tall. Oh, man. Let's see. Any other questions or comments, man? I appreciate you guys jumping in on the nooner here. See, when we go through your comments. Once again, I want to say thank you to YouTube Car Spotters Guide for that super chat. Let's see. Going through here. Oh, so here we go, man. We talked about it. We did it. And this one won't get removed. Unlike last night's show, where I didn't realize it was the official press release that I was looking at. So I had to remove that show. I, for one, though, I'm excited. TRD Pro would be where, for me, I would be at with this truck. I think I like a truck to do truck things, but at the same time, I like to go off-roading, and I'm willing to sacrifice some payload and stuff for that. For if the fact that TRD will be less payload, any of that wouldn't bother me at all. You guys know I'm in for a Raptor. If Kelly didn't love her Bronco so much, I would have both of them sitting in the driveway so we could A/B those together. But channel's under 9,000 subs right now. We need to get to allow me to do this full time. I need to get 25,000 subs on this, and then I can go full time with this, and then we'll really have some fun. So if you guys haven't yet, smash that subscribe button for me if you like truck talk. I'll have some of my press buddies on there. We like to discuss mid-sized trucks in general. I like to see where everybody's at in the market. I think the battle is here to rage. John, just spitballing real quick. I think if anybody were to try to take on the Ranger right now, I think Nissan's in the position to do that. I think they need to be in the position to do that. They need to quit being the laughing stock. I won't say laughing stock. They need to quit being the bottom tier truck. If you could somehow dual turbo that 3.8, could you imagine 450 horsepower maybe out of that thing? I'm just spitballing, but then go after, I broke news a long time ago that Nissan had a little Ranger Raptor fighter they wanted to bring to the segment. So I think that would be one company that could actually throw some money at this segment. But I think for Toyota, I think they've got a home run on their hands after driving the Tundra. I love the way everything sits. I have no reason to think this thing won't sit just as comfortable. And we'll go from there. I think it's going to be a home run for Toyota, and Toyota seems like they could crap turds and people would buy it, and it's all due to quality. Toyota just puts out a quality product. And will there be some issues with the first year version of this truck? Yes. I know the Tundra guys got all pissy when the Tundra had just a couple little things that need to be tweaked, and I don't hear anything about Tundra now. So Toyota takes that stuff seriously. They take that quality badge seriously, so you know they're going to put out a good truck. So, let's see. Now bring on the 4Runner. Yes. Well, so that's how Toyota does it. 4Runner's next up. And if 4Runner, can you imagine a TRD 4Runner looking something like that? Maybe having some traits of the current Tacoma. Damn, that would be a badass truck. And take 4Runner. I know 4Runner there's a high-end audience that likes that. Give it removable doors. Don't do a soft top or any of that crap. Just do removable doors options on that, like a TRD Pro. And dude, people would lose their ever-loving mind. I'm telling you, they would lose their ever-loving mind. And you know it's going to be a hybrid 2.4, just like what we see here. So there you go. Let's see. 4Runner 6th gen looking like this Tacoma and being made in Japan would be my choice over Wrangler or Bronco. Yes, definitely. Oh, especially Japan. Their quality is just ridiculous what they send over here. Just ridiculous. But you know, I'll be honest, the plant, the Toyota plant in Mexico, the quality from what I was told by inside sources is way better than what the Texas plant was. So Toyota's going to stay on top of that stuff. YouTube Car Spotters Guide says Toyota or the 4Runner needs to lose some weight. I would agree. You're gonna see some aluminum with that, definitely. Let's see. Best looking midsize in my opinion. I would 100% agree. And here I'll show you my this is my background right now. So this is what I look at when I'm working. I'm looking at that Ranger Raptor right there in that green. I've decided that green is the color I'm going to get with it. And yeah, so do I change that now to TRD Pro? Only time will tell. But I think for the segment in general, I think the competition is going to ramp up. I think we're all going to get a better vehicle out of them. And I want everybody to realize that to get better vehicles costs money. So if you everybody fusses that, oh my God, $30,000 to $50,000 for a mid-size truck. Yeah, but price a full-size truck now. You're at $60,000 or more for options. So these things are just going to get more and more expensive, but that's just the game we all play. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, I need to say thank you to everybody to join the Nooner today. Hopefully you guys like that. Let me know in the comments, even if you're rewatching this, as I can get closer and closer to full time, I want to do a afternoon or a morning show. So let me know, I'm trying to figure out times on some of this stuff because I watch a lot of, honest to God, I watch a lot of YouTube shows, football shows, stuff like that. Pat McAfee, those are all around this time of day. So let me know in the comments whether that works for you. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or these just badass trucks that we all want to drive. It's been your All Terrain Nation. We've been talking the 2024 Tacoma. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.